to talk about that. So we'll see. And
Yeah,
one of the partners apparently is from Canada, so that'll be nice to hear a little bit about origin story.
yeah, beautiful. Hey, I
Or
just
you?
want to tell you really quick, just before you talk to everybody else. I found a Nordic spa in Leduc.
Okay, wow.
A little like, so I booked Lily and I to go next week. I don't know what it's like, but I'm like, oh wow. They have the hot and the cold and anyway, I'll let you know when I actually go there. But I was kind of surprised. I'm like, what? Lucy
How
actually did.
how was the like the visual of it in terms?
Well, it wasn't bad actually, like the actual like the sauna, and it wasn't bad. Not obviously, you know, their other one, the Ambleside one, was actually quite nice too. Lucy just found those when I was telling her I couldn't find anything. So I thought, okay, we're gonna go try that one in Leduc.
Nice. I'm so excited for you. That's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey everyone.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
How's everyone doing?
Good, very
Amazing.
good.
Tanya, how's the train ride from Hanover yesterday? Was okay?
It was a nightmare.
Nightmare.
But I made it, and my friend she picked me up, and I'm at her flat because I'm dog sitting her little puppy this weekend because she's in Barcelona doing her marathon, and was like, well, I'm looking after the little one, so it's she's sleeping right now, so that's good.
Cute.
It's like I don't have dogs. I'm not a fan of dogs.
Oh
But I was
no.
like, no, I'm doing that. Well, like this is like a full-time job, right? They want entertainment the whole day.
Like a kid. Yeah.
It is. It's like, yeah, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazing yesterday to first of all, I just want to thank you for introducing me to Luke. He was really a beautiful man that is really willing to do a lot of deep work. And I'm curious by you observing that call, what was the biggest kind of experience or takeaway? Because you said afterwards how you it really impacted you and the emotion. So I'm just curious your insights from that exchange.
It was really like for me overwhelming, and I was like very surprised by myself because I don't know Luke that well, and I
Mm,
just had this kind of feeling this is the right person you have to talk to, and I like I was following my instinct, and when he opened up and you opened up, I was like, oh my God, I was like full spot on. So that was really surprising, and there were so many topics I can relate to which came up, and I was like, yeah, like it showed me that I'm not alone on this journey, and that so many people are out there like feeling the same or have been through similar things. And it was just beautiful because like Luke opened up at one point, like after I would say half an hour, and then I was like, wow, this is like a very deep session here right now. And he messaged me after as well and was very grateful. And he's talking to his wife, but he would like to have the weekend to like think about it. It's like you take all your time, and yeah, it
yeah,
was beautiful.
it was beautiful. And he's just so introspective and honest with himself, like no bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not willing to say something and not follow through. Like I love the depth and the anchoring of a man that's just willing to really observe and not use his words and then not take responsibility. It was just amazing to observe him within his total and saying like, "Hey, this is scary for me. This is really
Yeah.
scary for me," and him willing to honor that within himself and then choose to just say, hey, like I really want to take the time. Like it was just such a beautiful man. He's such a
Yeah.
beautiful man. And that says a lot about you, Tanya, for being able to also see that and then bring that. And I'm just honored because uh thank you for this trust, right? Like thank you for this trust. This means so much to me. So
Thank
much to me.
you. Yeah, I had a good feeling, and yeah, I was like, I had so much energy, like so much positivity after this call. I don't know. I was like, yeah, even like the 1.5 hour wait, like in the cold, I was like, yeah, that's bad, but it's okay.
I love it. You're amazing. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
Um,
you.
so Mr. Chris, brother, I'm so happy you're here.
So happy to be here.
Grateful to have you, man. I'm curious if you don't mind sharing a little bit about yourself, brother, for those that may not have the wisdom or the awareness yet of your brilliance. It'd be really important, I think, for everyone to know you.
Thank you, Eric. And I think I have now met Luan. I remember Mart from some previous calls on the youth calls. And a little background on me. I actually saw Eric through the Tony Robbins world back in 2019 at Date with Destiny and saw him on stage and giving his heart out there for his values and rules and everything that he was going to produce. And then we met separately in Germany this year. Um, and I didn't even recognize him because he had such a different demeanor and vibes to him. And Nick really connected with my partner, who's making breakfast right now. Um, really connected with Eric on a lot of things that really aligned with who we want to help to be awakened and help their mind really slow down so that they can speak from the heart. And I have a background in marketing and actually started a video marketing company a few years ago. And then that transitioned now to doing full service digital marketing for businesses and coaches who are really amazing. But they're artists in what they do. And because of that, they're focused on the art of what they're doing and helping the people that they help. And they might not reach the amount of people that they can reach because they're not focused on the business development or the marketing side, and just mainly work off of referrals. And we take companies like that and do a revenue share model because we know that a lot of those people have been approached before by marketing companies who charge a lot in the beginning and don't end up fulfilling those promises. But we're confident in what we do, and so we want to grow with those people. We pick people that we know that will grow significantly if they just had the right messaging and put it out in the right platforms. And was talking to Eric about this event because we originally were a part of the planning for this. And then Nick and I got into a lot of what we're doing, which is very aligned and wanting to bring similar people together. And then just scheduling of things didn't quite work out until Eric had reached out again and reminded us that we're very aligned in what we're trying to do. So, or in what we're doing, as we will say. And yeah, I'm super excited. I had a good call with Luan yesterday, just going over the website and clarifying the message, and happy to be able to help this group do the same. I'm still not 100% sure what this specific call is for, but that is my personal background on this, and I would love to hear more context as to what you guys do on this call.
So I think that the biggest thing about this call is really just developing the community, and I think that this is what the not I think this is what the emphasis of this call is, which is what you're talking about. How are we going to continue to navigate and bring as much energy to the experience not just of the community, but also of what the event is going to bring to life. And so, as a result, this is what grows the community. What you're sharing, everybody's gifts is really, really being highlighted right now. So that then, you're developing by just even sharing your insight. And then also by us working on something openly, it allows people to see how our harmony is able to identify. And of course, I record this because people that are curious and interested then can see how ease and flow comes together without needing to compete, right? So one of the things that recently, I know you had some suggestions with regards to the website, with some of the unique text and things like this. And I know Luan was adjusting some of those things based off of some of your suggestions. Uh, and I'm curious, gentlemen, if it would be valuable for us to go over that so that Luan maybe can highlight that right now. And I also was talking to Monica. So Monica,
Oh,
myself, and Brenda had a meeting about taking a portion of the proceeds, and after we're really fully able to bring all our energy to life, and make sure that we're taking a portion of the proceed. We also provided um discount code for her community, but really bringing a portion to what's going on to the Hug Foundation. So having some of that context on the website, Chris, I think would be really valuable. So like, hey, a portion of the proceeds are going to. So I just wanted to kind of anchor that in, and then see, Luan, from your context, if there's any more insight, because I know Pedro also has put together the video for the event so that we can have more of a promo. And then in addition to that, a lot of influencers are suggesting, hey, Eric, people that talked on Tony's stage are saying, hey, Eric, can you create something that is easy, like a IGTV or a Square or something that I can share about the dates? And they can't come, but these speakers that have been on Tony's stage, or speak on other stages, or are doing their own thing, are willing to talk about it on their stage or on their socials, and share it about what we're doing. So it would be really meaningful, I think, for us as a community to uh, use some of the context, or create some of the design, or even get some of the branding with like IGTV or something that we can use so that they can put on their IG, or their Instagram, their Facebook, their LinkedIn, things like this. I'll pause there. Luan, did you want to add anything? And hi, Tina. It's good to see you here. By the way, I'm so grateful you're here. Yay! It's so good to see you. Miss you. Mwah. Uh,
For the webpage was mostly that I was trying to. I want to use this space as for Chris or for Nicholas to step by and say some suggestions for the website. Besides the messaging, because Chris was telling me that he will be more into that part of this for now. You see in the messaging how we can start changing stuff. We talked a little bit for that one into the yesterday um yesterday, well, our last meeting. But I know he was wanting to have more time to read it all or being more into the depth and actually combine with like more meaningful or more just no more meaningful words and messaging for the webpage and for the later again sort of again the later messaging that we're going to use for the emails and that part.
Yeah, I mentioned this to Luan and Eric, you know this, like I've this came out. I was not expecting to, Nick and I were not expecting to be involved with this, and then we had a great call about it. And and with that, my schedule this week was already packed, but this weekend I've got time now to dive in fully. Um, I was able to take a look at the videos that you had made too, Eric, and we had a call with someone, or on the at the time that we were having that call, Eric and I, we had somebody with us who could have been an ideal client for the event, and so we were able to just like hear what the questions would be and hear where we can fill some answers. Um, and I don't know, Luan, if you had a chance to, I don't know if you had a chance to make any updates or not. But the main things that I was talking about was one, I didn't want to come in here and just completely change everything without having more context around you guys and get your input and just like share my ideas about it and my philosophy about it, what I've learned about messaging, and then use the help from you guys to make sure that the core of what was needed to be said and why those things were still on the website in the first place are still set. Because I'm not here to just completely change the messaging and take over the event. I mean, my goal is to just make sure it clarifies it so that people can have more certainty when they are investing a good amount of money into something that will change their life and help them to be conscious developers in the world. So, Luan, did you have a chance to update anything? I'm not sure.
Honestly, I have the chance to upload some of the videos of the testimonials and prior events. That were the most of the changes that I made.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what the thing that I mostly did do. Today, the Pedro or the first draft of the video just arrived. I haven't seen them, and so it will be a good opportunity to all see the video. And today I will be uploading as the first part of the web page. But for messaging and for other parts, I didn't do much. I have to say, was more for the updating for the videos of the videos.
All good. And I'll have time today and tomorrow to like go into it and give more specific suggestions because we talked more
Okay.
philosophy yesterday.
And maybe Chris, we can talk, or we can also in that messaging, we can, as I mentioned, add the part of the Hug Foundation being involved.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Just so it's clear for people and so they understand that one of the things that if I'm just gonna quickly interject here because I sent it to a friend of mine, a couple of the different speakers that I've had on the podcast, and they sent me some very similar the site gives the sense that the trip is like a corporate retreat vibe. And so they said I've seen that many times. I'd say that you have a lot of unique personality and insight that I don't feel is really there in the offering. So he and her had both said our personal experiences that things are often hard to sell without this strong differentiation of what the specific person is offering and a chance to experience things they've only imagined in their dreams. So they just focused on saying, making sure that from their personal perspective, that it's very uniquely valuable based off of the depth that we're providing. Because a lot of these people that have been on the podcast or speakers that know me, they know the depth that I'll go into, just like Tanya was in the call the other day. I don't think was really expecting that. Although it like blew his mind and blew his socks off. And then it's also like Chris with the lady that you offered me to speak with at that in your space, there was a different or a deeper layer that we went to immediately, and she was comfortable in expressing herself. And then we adjusted the website based off of some of those logical components that were in her mind. So just something that I want to highlight, because then that's also going to really help Codrin as well in terms of driving that in terms of the like, by the way, Codrin is doing a lot of the email marketing, so that will
Yeah.
be really helpful, Chris, in terms of you guys like with the messaging. So because Chris,
Yeah.
I do see, you're able to really nail in my like consciousness the way that we're able to then extrapolate that from the logical mind. So the cognitive expression of what people really need for certainty's sake
Yeah,
is able to then get them into the place where, hey, this is feeling really good.
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Another thing that I want to talk about, since you've mentioned the foundation, I've recently learned of a concept of studying some of the marketing side for this business. I think, Eric, this can be your strong point and leverage for growth, given the fact that the community is created popping. Since we already have a list that we're constantly emailing to, since you're already having this foundation, I think if you consider this can be useful, this can be a very easily growth vehicle. Means that instead of going out there with a cold outreach approach, trying to get the groups and basically every kind of having the community grow organically but uncontrolled, you can find some of your strategic partners, people that you really like and that you like to work with. And you can make this offering to their list in exchange for them making an offering to. So this is also something that once we start trimming things out is worth considering about, because this is how you can also bring growth on the coaching side of things and the retreat, of course.
I
So
I love it. So I think I just heard strategic partnerships. That's what I heard. Is that correct?
yes, that's correct. So basically, if Chris helps with the communication, basically, and if we start engaging the list even more, and I would love to work with you on this messaging side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Once we have, once actually not, if when not once, when you have Eric some people in mind who also own lists, very important because they might be great businessmen, but they may have no list or a very low quality list. Then we can also talk how we can leverage a strategic partnership, not necessarily to bring them on the event side of things, but to be able to give their offerings to the list and give your offerings and our offerings to theirs. So this is also something worth noting.
So again, a lot of people that have been on my podcast are already willing. So that's,
Perfect.
well, I mean, I haven't reached out to all 200 of them yet because I don't want to waste anyone's time. I want to make sure we nail it in. But like 200 people on my podcast I've built really deep relationships with that are able and willing because we're aligned in principles are able to and they're all thought leaders of really meaningful change. So uh these will be people that when we're prepared and we have a profound way of doing it, will be valuable for the future version parts of where we're going as a team.
All right. Perfect. Well, in this case, Chris, if you're happy to meet you, I would love to work with you to start nailing the messaging to our own list first. Once we have that insight, once we have that framework in place, then we have something to break to work his message. Does that sound okay? Chris, Eric?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I'm happy to help with that. And I do have somebody on my team that is specifically for email marketing. He has a robotics events company. And
Nice. Perfect.
he specifically markets his events and his courses and has done like hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales. And he's in college.
Perfect.
So it's like he's an expert and amazing at doing this. So yeah, I would love to get both of our inputs on it. And like you said,
Yes.
it's about clearing the messaging up and making it consistent with our community first, and then being able to add others that are also consistent. Because something that he's taught me as well is that you can do the strategic partnerships. It just can't be confusing to the person that's on the email list, because then they're not going to click on it anyways. So yeah, we'll just need to be consistent with what we're saying
Perfect.
and how we're saying it. So great.
Yes,
Well,
would love to
Chris,
schedule a call with you.
Yes.
You're a legend, Chris. I'm so grateful that you're part of this. This is exactly the brains and the thought process that we really needed. So just thank you so much. Thank you to both you and Nick for really taking this on alongside us so that we can move as a family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Is there anything that I need to do even more moving forward to support you, Chris, right now?
So with the videos that you had sent, and I know featuring Pedro is working on a video,
Yep.
which is done now or is done on Tuesday? Was
So there's a first version of it done. He just sent it over.
Yeah, I would
However,
love. Yeah, just go ahead.
however, I also we added a lot of the previous events Luan had put into the website. So I can't wait for you to look at some of those videos, whether they were online, in person, when I was in 2019
Yep, I
or
saw that.
traded to a different version. Like there's so many different versions of me that you get to see. So it's so cool to see the contrast, right? Because that's also cool to see people recognize that there's constant and never-ending improvement. So
Yes.
that Kanai is going to be valuable. And yeah, so whatever we need to do better, I really know that you're a master of the video marketing. And so I also am making a video for Monica and her group and a special email campaign that if you feel like you want to look over, because
Yep.
she's also sending that to her email list so that we can get the revival fully booked.
Yes.
And again, you and I had talked about, hey, once we get 28, if we need to do 5 or 6 or 10 more spaces and figure that out,
Yeah.
then we figure it out.
Awesome.
So it's really
Yeah.
nice to have this whole team effort going into it, which, by the way, I love that Tina's here because she's super curious about the revival. So I love that she's here and like, hey, there's all these people here working on this. And so it's amazing. By the way, everybody, Tina, do you want to share a little bit about yourself and the beautiful cat uh, that you have, because you're such a profound part and you're always in service to the community and you're always shining bright, Tina. So she's an amazing Platt family member. So Tina, do you want to share?
Gosh, I don't really know what to share exactly about
Let's share about
myself.
yourself.
Yeah, I mean, since the Platt thing, I've been doing a lot. Yesterday, I actually, sorry, I'm a vet, by the way, and I rescue animals. So, yesterday I actually filed my non-provisional patent application for a product I've been developing, and I'm doing patient advocacy for the connective tissue disorder that I have, and started a nonprofit related to that, and just trying to figure out where I can make the biggest impact with my experiences, putting that out into the world, basically. Because I've got an eclectic background of a lot of things. So, finding my niche, but really to me, it's all about raising your vibration. And so I'm just seeing what this is all about.
Tell us about some of your eclectic background. I'd love to hear more about it, or at least if you feel comfortable to share it, because this is one of those spaces that we all we all love to share our uniqueness and our magic and our wisdom and our grace, and we know that we all come from that deeper place of meaning. And I know that you are very connected deeply inside, Tina. So we'd love to hear more about your wisdom, your like mastery, your artistic expression.
Okay. I mean, shoot, I mean, I'm not a very good speaker. That's one thing I need to learn, is to put myself out there.
I disagree. I think you're amazing. I think that when you get into that space, you're like totally flowing and insightful.
There might just be a possibility, and correct me if I'm wrong, that when you have to speak on a basis, you kind of may think about it. Because when you
Yeah,
can,
yeah. When I just start speaking, then I can totally be, this is what I feel, this is what I'm doing, this is what I think is important. But then when I get put on the spot, I'm like, I'm like, what do I say? I mean, my background is I'm a veterinarian by education. I did genetic research. I ended up on disability, found out I had
oh,
a collagen disorder, was bedridden for a while, got a bunch of regenerative treatments, went through the Tony stuff for a year. Now I'm doing another mentorship, and that's led me to accidentally invent a product. And also, I want to use my experience navigating the disability system and the diagnostic odyssey of people who have my collagen disorder to actually be able to, share my story, because it's one of those invisible disorders that everybody thinks you look normal, and it's actually affects lots of systems of your body. And also regenerative treatment helped me, so I want to share that, and also how you stay positive when you go through ups and downs in your health and mobility. And that I'm just still, trying to go, okay, let me figure out, my brain is still good, my body isn't always, how can I make a difference in the world with all my, knowledge that I've had having to navigate the medical system, the disability system, my own mental health, stuff from childhood programming, and just trying to get myself out there and discover who I was really supposed to be in this lifetime.
okay. When you talk next time you talk to people, you're going to talk in front of people. You need to stop thinking because this was absolutely outstanding. Like right now, whatever mission you would have, I mean, I think we're all sold into it. So if there's any way that anyone can assist now, please let us know. By the way, I don't know if you know about the Encyclopedia of Ailments and Diseases. This is a 550 dictionary that basically I use with some of the people I've done healing with. I've done energy healing. I'm never charged for this because I can't guarantee any kind of results. But what we found very interesting is that sometimes there's no match with the emotional aspect of a disease. Sometimes there's over 80%. And when there's over 80%, once you manage to cure kind of the root beliefs and the root fears and the root trauma of those diseases, if there's a match, the whole disease can get cured. We've had this experience so far with a child who is autistic and who had epilepsy. So thank God he was cured almost completely. We had this experience with some cancer patients as well. It's something worth looking into. And if you want, actually, I can put this book, Lighthouse Community, because if you know anyone who has a disease, it's worth looking at this book first if there's an emotional match.
Well, and I think there always is. I mean, you can't separate the emotional body from the physical body, and then there's epigenetics, and there are times that you have less of a manifestation of your disorder and up and down symptoms, but it's also what's turning on these genes. Yeah. Even though they say mine's genetic, although I'm in databases, they haven't found the gene for my particular type, although it's the most common one. I'm like, it's just like toxins building up on genetic predisposition, on emotional trauma. And so I don't think you can separate any of those things.
True.
Tell us about the regenerative treatment that you were going through. I'm curious about it.
Okay, well, because I have a collagen disorder, basically, which was great when I was young because it made me super flexible, but at a certain time, everything started ripping on my joints, and I was mostly bedridden. I could hobble from the bed to the recliner, and they had recommended me have 14 different surgeries, including neck fusion and remove tendons and all kinds of things. And of course, since I used to do genetic research, I researched it, and basically we don't respond well to surgery because we don't heal well, and because our tissues are fragile. And so I would show them all this, but then I started looking into prolotherapy and PRP because I did the research, and it showed that it actually can strengthen the ligaments and make them larger. So every 6 weeks for 9 months, I went to Florida and got regenerative injections, partially prolotherapy with different solutions. They're trying to cause your body to have an immune response to heal itself. Oh, sorry. And then also the next step up for some of my joints, I didn't have enough blood in my body, was PRP, where they spun down my blood and injected it into the worst joints. That was when my collarbone had separated from my sternum. And basically it was in joint every 6 weeks for 9 months. I went down there and was the human pincushion, every level of my spine, both shoulders, both knees, both hips, both wrists. I mean, but yet it helped me, that and putting myself through a particular physical therapy program and nutrition and that stuff. But that, I really don't think I'd be walking without it. And stem cells is the next step up. But, you know, and I'd like them to do a study on me for that, because, you know, everything's anecdotal when they don't do a study on you or your disease.
That's beautiful. I mean, the fact that you put yourself through that to learn about yourself, and then to also,
Incredible.
and how are you feeling now?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm mobile. I can get out there and do things. I can play in the yard. I mean, I will periodically need, you know, tune-ups, because I can stretch my ligaments all back out again, which makes all my joints unstable. And I know that. I mean, the first one I had injected, I didn't even know I had this disorder, but it fixed a pain I had had for 30 years. So, you know, but I mean, I was not okay with being bedridden, and, you know, I could not have done going on all the platinum trips. I mean, granted, in Africa, and I was in a neck brace, but you can be in a neck brace at home and miserable, or you just keep on going. And, you know, so you have flare ups and things come and go, but that's part of my story. And yeah, really, I'm beta testing things on myself so that I can say what worked for me, because I look in the patient communities about what did and didn't work for them. And there's a lot of info, but of course, nobody's going to do a study on anything that takes away from, you know, the medical system pushing drugs and surgery on you. So, you know, there's a different way of having to get that out there, you know? And so I'm just, yeah, I don't know how it looks. I just have to keep going with, you know, what I feel and share what I did, and, you know, try to figure out how to be comfortable saying things to people.
I love
You're
it.
doing
And
an amazing job.
I agree.
Thank
I agree. And that I think is like you've always, when you talk about your passion, Tina, you shine like the sun. So I just want to emphasize that.
Thank you.
What resonated most with you about the retreat to Brazil? I'm curious, because I think since we have the whole team here.
Well, honestly, I'd have to say that you reached out to me, because I don't even know the dates. I know it was about, you know, really being, I don't know, I felt like it's about being light workers. And even though you and I have intermittently contacted, it's always been a good thing. And I'm, you know, I just feel like you've got to have groups that are raising pockets of consciousness. And you know, I don't even know the dates, but I just was interested, and I believe in, when the universe presents me something, then I have to get more information on it, because nothing happens by accident.
Oh yeah.
Totally agree.
You are in the right place, we could say that.
I love you. I love you guys. So it's April 28th to May 4th. We're really pumped and excited. We're focusing on, like you say, really expanding and growing the light, but really fundamentally redefining business and how we're influencing ourselves to cultivate a meaningful approach towards our purpose as a team, towards what we face as adversity, so that we can really fundamentally create transformations as a community, as an organization, as a business, and empower other individuals when they come and they join, that say, hey, your organization, your culture, the way that you choose to operate is actually a extension of you. And from that place, we can actually all shine like the sun. Everybody has their own wisdom, their own approach, their own ability to do the things that they really are amazing at. And as a result, really encouraging that space of purpose, because we're all here. Teamwork makes the dream work. And, a lot of the family here that's genuinely here right now is aligned in our principles. And so I always say the principles that guide us are the ones that define us. And as a result, we move towards a goal as a family. We all have different roles and responsibilities. However, fundamentally, and of course, anyone here is able to disagree and whatever if I'm not saying things. However, my hallucination is we've gone down this road for so long already that that's why we're all here together. So this is really the whole purpose of the experience, so that we can attract and move towards this vitality, because the more that we discover the art of our true vitality that's within us, the easier and graceful the experience of our life becomes.
Yeah. Does it sound?
How does that feel, Tina?
I mean, that's totally how I feel. And you also want to be around people who raise your vibration rather than people that suck you in. So I'm always looking for those places where I feel elevated and more able to believe in myself because other people believe in me, rather than having people who, you know, there are a lot of people who just want to tear everybody down and increase separation. And that doesn't help anybody. So, I've been looking for, well, I mean, I have different communities, but they have different purposes. And I don't really have one for vibrational expansion or something, I guess.
So do you feel like, based off of your few minutes of being here, I know it's only been like 30 minutes, what does it feel like?
I don't want to jump to conclusions, but it feels accepting because y'all have actually listened to me, and usually I'm just the fly on the wall, and going, okay, I don't really play a role here. And the fact that you made me speak and go, let's hear what you have to say, goes, hey, maybe there is somebody that, maybe there are people out there that I can resonate with.
Hmm. I love that. I would love to hear what Mart has to say about that. That'd be really amazing.
Well, I have a very simple thing to say. You brought me in just a couple of minutes of you talking from I'm just living my life to I'm very curious about what your background is, especially related with the genetic stuff. That's something I find absolutely fascinated and I'm deeply interested in. And I'm like, you keep talking, I'm like, that's way more. It's getting more interesting and interesting the longer I hear you speak.
Yeah, it's funny. Most people just want to talk about the weather. They don't want to talk about, all the pieces of, it's crazy because it also goes into childhood programming. And, I didn't know when I was doing genetics in a lab that I was going to end up having a genetic disorder. It's kind of interesting watching the universe unfold, and the whole life is happening for you and not to you. And so, yeah, that's why I answered this and said, yes, that interests me because I believe in following the whispers of the universe.
Well, if you wanted to talk about the weather, in my native tongue, we have like at least 30 words for rain. So I could talk ages for it, ages.
I
Like
don't
all the
know, even
different
with
types of rain, how hard, how soft, duration, with words for it. It's amazing.
yeah, but I like things that go a little deeper. Talking about surface stuff, I get kind of bored with that. And I really am looking for, depth and meaning and stuff. So,
Yeah, Tina, I can relate to that. I really don't like small talk. So I hear you on that one.
Brenna, do you want to share maybe your experience? Because depth and meaning, I know are, like you said, are really meaningful. Maybe, why does it feel like this community kind of resonates with you?
Well, I went through a journey myself back in November a plant medicine journey. I was in a spot where I'm like, what's this all about? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Like I was just kind of in this place of confusion, unhappiness, and a friend had just and this is Tina, just for what you were talking about, how the universe just brings what you need or want, or the universe just brings the stuff to you. Anyway, a friend of mine said, hey, we got to go see this guy, or you got to go see this guy. I'm like, okay, who is he, and why? But I was very open, and I ended up jumping on a plane and went to Toronto. I went through a journey with him that just totally changed my life, totally got me on a different path. I immediately, that was a 5-hour experience. It's like 10 years of therapy done in that 5 hours. So when I came out of there, and it took a little while to process, I ended up going to Phoenix for 9 days, which was like perfect because I got away from work. I was just in this quiet space. I didn't have people. My partner was with me, but it was just us, no distractions. So I could really process what had, happened. And how I changed was I was, and I think Tina alluded to this, programming, old stories, all the past stuff that was driving my behavior. And I wasn't aware of it because you don't know what you don't know. And I just thought this was great. I thought, I'm thinking, I love what I do. This is great. No, I really didn't love what I did. It was causing me anxiety. I didn't even know I had anxiety. Like, I realized, because I have rental properties, I realized the rental properties were creating a lot of anxiety for me, but I was just stuffing them. I was an expert at stuffing emotion, stuffing. Well, of course, it's going to come out in some way, maybe with all my ailments in my body. The great thing is that I could face those things, realize what I was doing, realize how I was behaving, how I was acting, how it was driving my behavior, especially with my partner and in my business. And so I came out of there I really felt, I totally felt that I changed, that I didn't have to go back to that old behavior. I immediately hired somebody because one of my things is I had to do everything. No one could possibly do it as well as me. So I pretty much had to do everything. I have like 70 units that I'm managing. And I was freaking doing everything, showings, ads, like, come on. I've been doing this for 40 years. I've been to Business Mastery 3 times. But it took that experience for me to change. And okay, sometimes that's the way it has to happen, right? We actually did Business Mastery after, and I went into that Business Mastery like totally different. And so I could take in that stuff on a totally different level. So then when it came to, well, now I have this new perspective, I really felt it wasn't about me anymore. It was like, okay, how can I serve? I wanted to really serve because I connected to my heart. I realized, the connection to love that I didn't feel before because I was just blocking it. Then I had messaged, Eric and I met kind of at a Platt get together in Edmonton, and we sort of stayed connected. And after, it was just like he came into my world and the Lighthouse, and then I would get on the calls and I would be like, okay, these are heart-centered people. They're not in their head all the time. Sometimes, yes, we get in the head and we have to be reminded we're in the head. And Tony always says, when you're in your head, you're dead. And I was just living in my head 90% of the time. And so when I made that huge shift, you want to be around people that are like-minded. And I find when I would get on the calls, they would uplift me, and I felt I could help uplift others. It wasn't about pulling people down. It was about how can we support each other? How can we be a community? How can we be a family? And that's what I'm attracted to. That's why my work, I feel a totally different vision for my work now. I feel like I want to serve first, look at developing properties with, from my heart, not necessarily from my head. And so that's like a completely different shift in a few months. This is the thing about change. You can change so quickly. It doesn't have to take you years and years. It can actually happen in a split second when you have a knowing. So that's kind of my experience with the community. I love just like when people are from the heart, when they're speaking, and I'm speaking from my heart right now. If I was speaking to somebody else, and just like Tina said, connecting to different people, I'm challenged now with certain people that were in my life because they want to talk politics or they want to talk, and Eric always reminds me, be curious, be curious. I want to go deep on people, like, because that's what I love, right? But I'm navigating that right now. But this community is a safe community. You can say anything. It's, it's like a safety zone. Yeah.
Eric, please tell me you got that recorded.
Yeah, this is all recorded.
Yeah, hopefully my friends won't watch it. No, I'm kidding.
No, of course, nothing will ever go out without your express agreement. But it's beautiful because the thing is that once everybody starts talking about their experience with the community, there's only amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your journey as well. So with Chris's experience and with what Luan is doing, more of these stories should go out, in my opinion. And to be honest, if there's a YouTube channel, I would love to start also sending him these bits and pieces of what happens here so people can watch and understand what will
Yeah, I mean everything is recorded to and streamed to YouTube. And I'd love to also Tanya, like if there's anything that you feel is been a huge shift for you, I'm curious if you want to share since we've met in Bitcoin Amsterdam, so that was still like a while back in person. And even from there, like what's been the biggest kind of experience and shift for you since being here?
Like I haven't been on many calls yet, but I feel super safe here. Like I have the feeling I will never be judged. Doesn't matter what I say. And Brenda, thank you so much for sharing right now. Because I didn't know that you're like work in properties, from it it relates so much because like what you said about anxiety, like I was how you say, I was in London for many years and I was there in properties as well. So I was a sales manager for the biggest company there. And before I moved to London, I never heard about the term anxiety. I even didn't know that this kind of thing existed. And you just brought that up. It was like, yeah, I can totally relate. And this is what I love about the Lighthouse community. Like every person has a story and somehow you connect to them. And I don't know, it's like, it's a part of it. It's like, wow, this is like, and even you don't know them very well, you can just like easily dive in. I love to listen, and that's what I really appreciate here. People do listen. Like nobody is here next to the phone. It's like, no, everybody's really listening to you and sharing their own experiences, and that means a lot. It's like coaching and therapy sessions. Like, no, it's true. It's like, because like I don't like to talk about the weather. It's like
That's
that's
boring.
meaningless.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I love most is that because we go deep as a family, as a community, as a tribe, that's why we become, our bond becomes so strong. Right? So the deeper we go, the higher we grow. And that for me has always been since I was a little boy, like I don't know, I've told all of you this 1,000 times, but so many people would say, Eric, you're too intense, you're too this, you're too that. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm me. And I'm gonna keep being me, and I'm gonna keep loving me, and I'm gonna keep rocking it, and I'm gonna keep going forward because that intensity, that depth is something that connects me so much more deeper to something greater. And then as a result, I get to see that in every experience of life. And as a result, I choose to hear the wisdom of each person I ever meet. And as a result, we get to see the wisdom of each other. And I think this has been my greatest gift that I didn't even know existed until I started to realize that so many of us actually are seeking the same thing. And that to me is like the most beautiful discovery is hey, it's really the same story. It's just once we discover our own depth, then we can start to resonate, and then we move towards the shared purpose, shared vision, shared experience of life. And so, Tina, we're grateful to have you here, and I'm really honored that you're smiling big, and we hope to see you. And I know we have a call later today, anyways, so we can go even deeper into the experience. I just wanted to really highlight your courage to even come on here, not knowing anybody, and just being you, always being you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the thing, is like, I believe that with ease and grace comes the passion of being ourselves unapologetically, right? And that is the beauty of life, is life is supposed to be easy and graceful, even though we've been conditioned by the mind or the external world to make it more difficult. And yeah, there's just so much more beauty when we look at nature and how it works together and commingles and looks towards support. That mycelium network that is in the ground is also interconnected within our heart's wisdom. So that's what gets us to cultivate and create and come with so much more certainty to any environment.
I just want to also say one of the things that came out of this change in me was the fact that I realized that I was pretending to be somebody I wasn't. I was too afraid to be myself. I was too afraid of offending people. I was worried about what people would say, think, all that BS. And a good example of now I feel like, and especially in this group, we can just be. We can be who we are. We can be unapologetic. An example, I was talking to my assistant, who is fabulous, and she calls me queen, and I call her magician, because the four archetypes, we had gone through Date with Destiny or Business Mastery, I forgot where we were talking about it, and I realized that I was using too much of my warrior for most of my life. Had to get things done. Got to do it now. Got to, just pushing, fighting. And I realized I had to, or I wanted to use more of the queen, the sovereign queen. And Kanda, my assistant, she was also there, right? So she understands the difference between all these archetypes. Anyway, she was posting on social media and always calling me the queen. Someone came to me and was concerned about that. What kind of message is that? You know, is she a peon and you're the queen? And so this whole story was happening. And I'm like, I'm not buying into that story. Kanda and we understand each other. And I asked Kanda, do you think you're a peon? She said no, because she understands when she says queen, it's about respect. It's not about demeaning her. And I just find it so fascinating how people, they're always going to have judgments and they're going to have thoughts about you, but you don't have to buy into them. I can only worry about me. I can't worry about other people's reactions, how they're going to handle things. And that's a big change for me, where I am going to listen, but I'm not going to buy in to their reaction. Their reaction is their reaction, and that is something they have to deal with, not me. If I am strong in my queenness, for example, I don't have to buy into that story someone is telling me about. They're concerned about me. No, they're not concerned about me. It's about them. It's not about me, because you don't need to be concerned about me. And I just thought that was kind of a good example of, just be yourself. I can be Brenda. I don't have to go back to the old Brenda. I don't want to be that old Brenda. I like the Brenda 2.0, the new, improved version of her that can just be herself and doesn't have to apologize for it. And I can talk to you guys about it because you get it. Now, if I go talk to my, my tennis friend or something, they're going to like, what? Not that I wouldn't talk to them about it, I would, but anyway.
Yeah. Oh,
This
it was me.
Go ahead. Sorry, Codrin. My apologies.
Oh, no, I had to quickly hop off, but it was amazing meeting all of you guys. So catch you on the next one.
Hey, big
And
love, brother.
thank you,
Yeah.
Tina, for sharing. Thank you, Brenda, for sharing, and big love.
See you, brother. I'll connect you with Chris in the
Please do.
group.
Yeah.
One thing I just want to add. Oh, and there's Nick too. What's up, Nick?
What's up?
Are you guys at a log cabin?
It is yes. This is like, and the way that we found this place was, again, like what we're talking about here, the magic of things just happening. But this is the
Oh,
view.
wow. That's
We are
gorgeous.
snowed in.
Where are you? Where is this?
Called Eden in Utah.
Oh,
Like the
beautiful.
Garden of Eden. And yeah, this place is so beautiful and magical, and many people with the same feelings around connection and just wanting to be in a group of people or just be open and be ourselves. That's what this valley is. And I'm Eric, as I'm hearing everybody talk about what we're building. I'm getting much more clarity on who we are and who wants this, which really everybody does. But people that are in the state of they're done with the BS of whatever it was in the past that they were holding on to, and are ready to step into their true self. So yeah, this is amazing. And thank you, everybody who has shared so far about yourselves and why you're here, for continuing to share that.
I would build on top of that. This environment of openness and sharing leads to us helping each other. And on top of that, what I find even more important is a willingness to be helped, to listen and watch how the lessons of others can also impact you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And every conversation that's happening here, especially if it's something that is like totally out of what I already know, then it's like, this is not necessarily my interest, but I can already learn some bits and pieces from the communication or the way people speak about it. And enhance my view of the world and my knowledge just by being.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think you can also help each other because as many times as we know our limiting beliefs and spiral back around and learn another layer of lesson, if you have people that know you, they can help point them out in a loving way and not attacking way where you feel like they're trying to pin you into your 12-year-old self, but that they're actually helping, trying to pull you out of those patterns instead of lock you into them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. It's amazing to see you later and talk to you
Yeah,
soon.
Hi, Godwin. All the best. Big love. We'll connect you with Chris and Nick.
Please.
So one of the biggest things that I'm hearing, and one of the things that I encourage all of us to remember is our sovereign responsibility, right? And when I talk about sovereignty, I talk about direct connection. That means direct connection to our intelligence of something greater than ourselves. Because when Brenda's in her queen, or any of us is in our sovereignty, we're not making it about ourselves. We are a vessel that allows the expression to come through us. And that's what this space is about. By the way, the lighthouse is the planet, or the universe, although we use the lighthouse as a metaphor example of what we're doing here as a community. The truth is that when we own that energy, our self-worth is self-measured. And so when we choose to step in that direct alignment, we don't make it about the vessel. We make it about what's coming through us, so that we are a tool of harmony that allows to create and ultimately activate the most outstanding standard of principles, which is what makes this environment so freaking safe and beautiful, because we are all shining, and we're doing it unapologetically. And we don't make it like the intensity that comes from all of us. It's coming because it's coming from the most powerful resource, our heart. So there is nothing that compares to that intensity. There's nothing that compares to that power, because it comes from something that we don't even need to think about. And that's why I always talk about, let's just stop thinking, use the mindlessness, quiet the mind, and really tap into this heart's profoundness. Because that profoundness is what will allow us to really hear each other from when more of us are really listening. And it doesn't even need to be the language, as we all know. It could be the focus and fundamentally our physiology first, right? So I love you all so much. You all inspire me just listening, and I love hearing you all, because this big mission that we're on, which is a huge mission that is, so profound and so fun, is really just making this playground so much more profound, so that our kids and our grandkids and our great grandkids don't need to go through the same challenges that we have. They could focus on really standing on our shoulders, right? And then as a result, they've had healthy mirrors, healthy mirrors to stand on shoulders, instead of focusing on unhealthiness or past traumatic experiences, because we chose to take responsibility of our own intergenerational traumas now, so that they don't need to. They could just come into this beautiful playground and say, I'm ready to create. And we can say, how can we help you? How can we help? How can we help? Right? So this is the gift of life, and I'm just honored to be on it with you.
Awesome.
Thank you all for this beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, or the day after, or the day after, or the day after.
Thank you
Fantastic.
so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
See you.
Amazing.
Love you guys. See you later.
Big
Bye.
love.
Great day.
Chris, if you need anything, I'm here in the groups. Luan, if you need anything, I'm here in the groups. We're
Yeah.
connected.
I want to talk to Chris in the direct message. Just to telling you, Chris. I will send you two message. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
Bye,
Love you,
guys.
Nick. Good to see you. And Nick, Tina, I'll talk to you in a bit. And Tanya, I'll send you a link right now.
Yeah, perfect.